Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another installment of Scott Selections here for Tuesday, December 10th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We ended up picking up a winner with the Phoenix Suns minus 3.5, which was available on FanDuel at minus 110. Game was pretty close at half. Timberwolves actually had a lead, but that team just cannot guard anybody. And the Timberwolves ended up giving up 120-something points. Suns were able to coast pretty much the entire fourth quarter, and we ended up picking up another easy winner. Now, for today's card, really don't like anything, which is why this video is coming out so late. I looked through the entire card, didn't really like anything. There were some college basketball matchups, but the line movements looked a little bit sketchy on those. Other than that, though, there is no football on, there's only a handful of NBA games, only 4. Don't really like any of them either. And for college basketball, there are a couple of games, but nothing really that looks that great based on the lines alone. So for that reason, I'm actually going to be giving out a very early look-ahead line on NFL matchup that will be taking place in Week 15. There's one game in particular that has had a ton of line movement, and I will get on this now before it is too late. And it will be a primetime matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Dallas Cowboys. That game will pretty much be on TV, I'd say pretty much throughout the entire country, at roughly 4:30 on Sunday. And in this game, very interesting line movement. I personally bet it early just because I didn't really understand the line itself, and it seems like the market has reacted accordingly. The Rams originally opened up as 3-point underdogs in Dallas, and yet now they're currently going off as 1-point favorites. So you've already had a 4-point line movement in this game, and it's only Tuesday. I don't want to say unprecedented, but that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, usually you'll see a line move, and then it'll slowly move and then build up as the week progresses. But these lines come out roughly the previous Sunday, even the previous Saturday or so. You usually have look-ahead lines, and yet the line has already flipped 4 points in roughly the span of 2 days, which I find ridiculous to me. Now, do I think it's warranted? I think, of course, it's warranted. I think the Cowboys being 3-point favorites against the Rams team that just smacked the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football last week is absolutely ridiculous. I know the rest advantage works for the Cowboys because they ended up playing on Thursday for the second straight week, as they ended up getting embarrassed by the Bears on Thursday Night Football this past week. But do I think it really matters? No. I think the Cowboys are kind of in the same boat as the Eagles. I know the Eagles were able to win yesterday. They looked awful. I mean, there's no way to describe how else they played against a 2-win Giants team, and they came out absolutely flat in the first half. I mean, I know that they were able to rally late, and I get that, but it seems like both teams, something involving with the coaching staff with Peterson and Garrett, these teams just don't look interested. I don't know what it is. I know Peterson, it's a little bit more difficult to admit that because of the fact that he already won a Super Bowl, and Garrett has underachieved pretty much his entire career. But the Cowboys, until they get rid of Garrett, I don't see them turning it around for me. This team just doesn't look interested. They don't look well prepared at all. They did finally get rid of Maher, so I guess their kicking game might be slightly better. But at the end of the day, Dak has shown over the last couple of weeks that against very solid teams, he just doesn't play well. The Cowboys are winless against teams over 500, and the Rams are a team over 500. So I think the Rams should be able to play well. It's in a dome, so weather won't be a factor. But you have Jalen Ramsey going to be guarding Cooper. I think that'll be a pretty interesting matchup. The Cowboys defensively have been an absolute mess if you have watched them over the last couple of games. I know they looked decently against New England on defense, but that was also due to really bad weather. But this team has gotten torched by Trubisky, by Jeff Driscoll, and by others throughout pretty much the entire season. This team just can't stop anybody, and I think Goff will actually play well. I think Gurley will play pretty well, and I just think that the Rams will definitely close as roughly a 2 or 3 point favorite. I wouldn't be surprised to see this number climb up to 2.5 or 3. A lot of general consensus that the NFC East is absolute garbage, and that is 100% accurate, as pretty much no team in that division actually seems like they want to win the division. The Eagles and the Cowboys have been a mess for pretty much the entire season, and yet they are both currently tied for a first-place spot in the NFC East. But the Rams, they're kind of caught in no man's land here. They're pretty much on pace to win about 10 games and not make the playoffs because of the fact that either the Seahawks or the 49ers will get one of the wildcard spots, and then you have the Vikings who will most likely get the second wildcard spot. However, the Rams are still going to be fighting for their playoff lives, which makes this a must-win game for the Rams. The Cowboys could honestly lose this game and still win the division because of the fact that if they win next week against the Eagles, they will have the tiebreaker in head-to-head, and that'll pretty much just mean that the Cowboys will be in the driver's seat to win the division. So this game is important for Dallas, but it's not a make-or-break thing. where the Rams, if they end up losing this game, are pretty much going to be out of the playoff picture. The Rams can still go 11-5 and miss out on the playoffs, which is absolutely brutal, which hasn't happened since the Patriots with Matt Castle that one year. But overall, I just think the Rams are a better all-around team. The Cowboys have been dealing with injuries to their defense for several weeks, including to Leighton Vander Esch, who has been a very big piece of that defensive core. You have Antoine Woods, who also had the weed issue, and he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's probably not going to play. Jeff Heath is a question mark, but at the same point, he has been pretty underwhelming so far this season. The main issue that I just have with the Rams is the fact that their offensive line isn't that great. However, the Cowboys' defensive line has been absolutely terrible at pressuring the quarterback in recent weeks. Robert Woods has been pretty good. DeMarcus Lawrence got paid a huge contract, and he's done absolutely nothing so far this season. If you actually watch the Cowboys play, he's pretty much not noticeable for the majority of any given game. I just think the Rams are a healthier team. I know that Havenstein might not play as the offensive tackle, but the Rams still looked pretty good last week against the Seahawks. I think this game should be close. Money's coming on the over. I think this will be a high-scoring game. I just think the Rams are going to score at least 27 points or so. I just don't think the Cowboys can stop a nosebleed at this point. And for that reason, I will take the Rams on the money line, which is available at minus 108 on FanDuel, and that will be the play of the day. Now, I'm aware that I actually just went about 6 minutes, and I forgot to actually mention what I'm betting on, but the Rams, I like them at minus 108 on the money line. I think the Rams should close roughly a 2 or 2.5 point favorite. There might be some buyback on the Cowboys late in the week, but overall, I just think the Rams are a better overall team, and the Cowboys have looked awful at home or on the road lately, as they got embarrassed at home by the Bills. I think the Rams should be able to dominate the line of scrimmage with Aaron Donald and Clay Matthews and all those people, and their secondary with Ramsey has also been pretty solid. I think the Rams will win this game, and I think they'll win it pretty comfortably. I think it will be relatively close late. I think the Cowboys might put a garbage time score in to make it single digits, but I just think the Rams are just the better overall team. So the play of the day will be on the Los Angeles Rams on the money line, which is available on minus 108 on FanDuel, and that will be the play of the day. Now, for the leans today, really don't have much to talk about, but in terms of the actual lines in itself, the main line that I've been looking at that I have noticed a serious scratching your head thing is between Maryland and Penn State. Maryland is the 4 seed in the entire country, and they're ranked 4th in the AP poll. Penn State's not ranked, yet Penn State is a 1.5 point favorite in this game. They open up at +1. They've been bet all the way to minus 1.5. I find that very interesting because Maryland's a top 5 team and Penn State's not ranked, and yet Penn State's favored in this game. I'm going to lean to Penn State there. I think if Maryland wins, it wouldn't surprise me because I'm not sure how good Penn State actually is, but this line tells me all I need to know. I'll lean to Penn State there. It's one of those where if you take Maryland, then you just realize that all the signs were written and you just completely ignored them. But the line itself just tells you to bet Penn State, and I have to assume that the people that ended up betting +1 to minus 1.5, I don't think that's public money based on the fact that they're fading the number 4 team in the country. I have to assume that that's sharp money. Lean to Penn State on that one. Other than that, though, lean to Louisville in the under against Texas Tech. That game will be on a neutral that will be taking place in Madison Square Garden as part of the Jimmy V Classic. Louisville, I just think, is the best team in the entire country. Texas Tech, I know that Beard's a great coach. This team has struggled replacing all the players they lost from last year. They've had a bit of a losing streak lately, and I think Louisville is just the better overall team. Louisville will win this by double digits. I don't think Texas Tech can score enough. Lean to Louisville on that one. But the play of the day, once again, is going to be on the Rams on the money line, which is available at minus 108 on FanDuel, and that will be the play of the day. Other than that, though, that's going to be the installment of Scott Selections here for Tuesday, December 10th. Good luck to all of you and your respective bets today. Bye, everyone.